Mike Pellicio.
Hi, Benji Wade.
I did not sleep very much last night. I am thoroughly up in my feels as we're sitting here in the studio, getting ready to talk on the Spokane Soccer Show. Didn't eat today, so I might be a little weird. I'm very caffeinated. I didn't bring a Red Bull or a bubbler today.
You didn't eat today?
No.
You got to eat, dude.
I know. Well, whatever. I'm going to try not to cry on this show. I'm going to try not to. Not because I'm afraid of doing so. I cry all the time. I've cried a lot in the last several days. And a lot of people, a lot of institutions, a lot of organizations are going to catch some strays on this one. So buckle up. I include myself on that list.
You're going to catch strays?
Yeah. There'll be some self-inflicted wounds as well. Before I unload, though, I want to get something out of the way first and foremost. And I want to say to the following women athletes: Taylor Almer, Winnie Bellata, Sophie Braun, Alyssa Bourgeois, Charlie Boone, Marley Canales, McKenna Carr, Haley Cole, Shay Collins, Ali Cook, Sydney Cummings, Maddie Desiano, Amina Ekic, Ginger Fontenot, Maya Hansen, Hope Heisey, Kara Hauser, Maggie Johnston, Emma Jaskinik, Felicia Knox, Arissa Mart, Sarah McCoy, Katie Murray, Izzy Nino, Kelsey Euler, Kat Rapp, Thais Hayes, Taryn Reese, Molly Rouse, Lena Solano, Reese Tappan, Haley Thomas, Cameron Tucker, Jody Ulkekel, Olivia Vanderyacht, Julia Valerand, Aliana Vakalaloma, Jenny Vetter, Natalie Vigiano, Cece Villa, Alyssa Walker, Tori Zierenberg, and Kenzie Weinert. Thank you for everything you gave to this club as a player, as a human being, as a resident of Spokane while we got to share our city with you. Today, I can't totally commit to serving up only the best vibes about all things soccer in the fine city of Spokane with my friend Mike Pellicio without first going through every stage of grief. So this is my invitation to all of you to come on in, join us. Let's all get up in our feels together. We're going to go through every one of them. I'm not skipping any stages. Before we hit record, Mike was like, you're going to stick to the script, right? You're not going to skip any stages of grief and go straight to anger, are you? He's worried about me. I'm not going to do that. We're going to do them all because my goal is if we can get through the stages of grief, eventually, I'm not promising it's going to happen today, but eventually, then I can be restored to bringing only the best vibes to talking about all things soccer in the fine city of Spokane. That's my goal. That's the project. Are you in with me?
I will try to bring the best vibes available today.
Okay, good.
The fine city of Spokane.
Okay. But I do want to start with the story of what happened on Saturday because the players deserve it. The coaches deserve it. Everyone who showed up deserves it. The community of Spokane writ large deserves to talk about that game because it was wonderful. It started, I think I shared this with you. I'm wearing this scarf. If you're not watching this on YouTube or video on Spotify, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you should. I'm wearing a scarf. It's the inaugural 2024 Spokane Zephyr FC scarf. I don't ever bring scarves to games. I'm not a scarf person other than as a backdrop on my podcast, if I'm being completely...
Not a scarf person.
Are you a scarf person? I never see you with
I
them.
am.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
If it's cold, I'm definitely outfitting myself with a scarf.
We will talk about one of those games. I didn't even bring a scarf to that game.
Yeah, I know.
Shows you how smart I am.
Cuddle with me.
So I get out of my car and I'm on Boone on my way to the stadium entrance. And I see the scarf that I'm wearing discarded on Boone. And I feel like that moment was incredibly poetic for horrible reasons. I'm glad I captured it and got to wear it because now it's my good luck charm. Whoever's it is, I'm sorry, I'm keeping it.
Did you rescue that scarf or did the scarf rescue you?
Right, that we're going to find out. We will go through a lot of discovery about that story through this conversation. But a 4-0 win, last ever it proves, for Zephyr FC against Brooklyn. Dominant performance. I mean, a banger from Felicia Knox from almost the same spot on the pitch as Tori's goal against Jacksonville. Thais Hayes, I made a post about this, but I want to talk about it on the podcast. See, I'm already going to start crying. Injured her entire first year with the club. She got hurt in training before the second game week against Brooklyn. I think it was MCL, ACL. Not the one you want. You don't want those double ligaments missing from your knee. Worked her ass off back into match fitness for this year and made a handful of appearances. Got her first 2 and last 2 goal contributions in this game. Awesome stuff.
That's all 3 points. Let's go!
The stuff that when you saw her in her time playing for Orlando Pride, you're like, oh, that's what's coming to Spokane. I'll have some of that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the preseason training day media session where it was her and Amina Ekic taking turns on corners, and I was just getting ready to see. Dude. Anyway, Katie Murray was subbed off in minute 63, and I think there's a lot of moments in this game because I have feared this outcome. There's a lot of moments in this game where I just got caught a little feeling circumspect about it all. And I wish I had gotten video of Katie's reception by the people that did come to this game.
That was an exit.
Dude,
there.
That stadium and that crowd sounded louder and more appreciative in their applause and their reception of Katie than maybe 3,000 did when Nil Vignal scored in the minute 121 against Portland Hearts of Pine. It was like, what on earth? And I was like, God, I wish I had that. If anybody has a video of Katie leaving the pitch, please share it with me. Did you clock her Trivella in that game out onto the left?
What a ball. Wow.
It was so gorgeous. And I have it. It's on my phone.
Yeah.
I'll find it. But Mike, here's what happened with Zephyr FC in their last 5 games at one stadium. When they came back home after that loss to Dallas, we were like, this is tough.
Yeah.
They got to win all 5 games, basically.
Correct.
And they certainly can't afford anything but a draw, maybe. What do? April 19th, they defeat the league leader at the time, Sporting Jacks 2-1. April 26th, they beat the hell out of Fort Lauderdale 3-1. May 2nd, they earned a point and their third 0-0 draw with Lexington SC, who go on to win the Shield. May 9th, they take care of business versus DC Power. They avenge the unfortunate loss on March 21st. May 16th, they follow their 3-0 win over Brooklyn on March 14th, when you and I almost froze to death, with a 4-0 win to end their season. 15 points available, and they got 13 of them. I'm going to start crying again.
I would have taken that at the time, too, because I remember being like, it's not realistic to win 5 games. Let's be honest.
And they just about did it.
I'll take 13.
And they just about did it.
Yeah.
And they also created quite a nice goal differential to end the season.
Correct.
They fell 1 point short of making the playoffs. Dallas Trinity had 40 points. Zephyr FC finished with 39, despite a 10-goal advantage on goal difference. They changed the rules this year so that tiebreaker goes to goal difference, by the way.
Rather than the head-to-head last year?
If these complete imbecile morons at the USL had not done that last year, or had it on goal differential last year, Zephyr FC would have made the playoffs. It almost feels like every step of the way, there's been something about Zephyr FC that has just felt like poetically jinxed. I'm not very eloquent right now, but something has just not quite felt right about how these 2 seasons have ended. Across their 2 seasons, shout out John Hunt, great friend of the show, supporter of Lexington SC. Congratulations, John. He pulled this information and shared it on Discord. Of the 8 teams that played both seasons in the USL Super League 2024 through today, Zephyr FC are third with 81 points. 10 points ahead of Lexington SC in fourth with 71. They've played well. They've been one of the better teams in the Super League. Feel free. I'm not going to, you know me, I'll fill the air. I'll just keep talking. So you go. Do you have any thoughts about any of that before I move on to the part that none of us wants to talk about?
Yeah. So kind of going off of some of the things you've said, the Thais moments were some of my favorite in club history.
Dude.
I was excited when Thais made her re-debut, or I guess it was debut, I think.
I remember it. I was sitting next to you.
From the injury. I think I was insistent to run down there.
Yeah, you and I were sitting pitch side.
Yeah. So like, I think that we were like, we got to be down there. So,
yep.
And only a couple real fans knew exactly what was going on, I think, more so than maybe like Katie Murray's. I think the people that were like, Thais!
Yeah, totally.
Like, those are the real fans.
Yeah.
And also, today we had Adapted Field Day at Shadle Park, where we host kids from all the high schools, with intellectual and developmental and physical disabilities, provide them with a field day where there's different, ways that they can experience sensory stimulation, different sports on offer. There's a petting zoo. There's just so many different things. 90 Plus Project was there. Spokane Impact and Project Inspire was there.
Let's go.
Last year, Thais came, and there's a student of mine that he asked for hugs from everyone. He'll ask from you if he ever meets you.
I'll hug him.
But it's part, that's the whole point. It's part of his like IEP, individualized education program, to be told no. So I'm like, Jenny Vetter, Thais, they came because they're injured and they had nothing else to do. I mean, nothing else to do, but the team was on the road.
Yeah, I got you.
And they come out and I'm like, hey guys, just say no. Jenny, no thanks. How about a high five? Okay, cool. Can I have a hug? Thais is like, yeah, dude, get on in here. So she gives him a big old hug. And I'm like, Thais, that's not what we talked about. She's like, I can do whatever I want. And I'm like, all right, you're right.
Good for you, Thais.
Give him the hug. So shout out Thais. And then after the goal and the assist this weekend, I went down to say bye-bye to some Zephyr players, not knowing exactly bye-bye, maybe meaning like the season's over.
Yeah.
And then Thais, when I saw her, I gave a big smile and I was kind of like, I know you hug in the appropriate, situations. And she gave me a big hug. So I was really happy to have that full circle moment with Thais, with what she's gone through, with the care she's given to students at Shadle Park who are in my class with intellectual and developmental disabilities. So that was a very cool moment. I believe that Thais deserves tons of credit for that.
Of course.
But yeah, really sad that we grabbed 13 points of 15 and then experience a very similar heartbreak to last year. Last year, we knew when we left the stadium.
Yeah, we did.
This year, I knew when I was swearing at the TV.
Dude. With Fort Lauderdale playing a key role in this one too.
Yeah, I mean, or not really participating.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or failing to do what we need them to do.
So that was a bummer. But if you have played sports, if you've been involved in sports, this is what happens regularly. And this is these lows, when I'm talking about not making the playoffs and losses and all that, and your place in the standings, are the reason it feels so great when you find the highs, when you win the games, when you lift titles. So
absolutely. And those lows feel immaterial in light of what we're going to talk about next, admittedly.
Correct.
So we have to do some hard things here. We're going to do it. I'm going to talk about some details from this game against Brooklyn last Saturday as a way of prefacing the rest of the conversation. But I want to be clear when I give you this information. I do not subscribe to a theory that this is the reason alone for the outcome of what has transpired. The attendance for the Brooklyn game, the last ever, it has proven for Zephyr FC, where critically important game, need to get a win, need as much support from the communities we can get, especially soccer fans. Okay. About 1,200 people showed up. According to the club, 953 tickets sold, as in purchased, whether it's season tickets or through, you could walk right up and buy one, or 650 that were claimed through a free ticket promotion that was running throughout the league. Okay. Out of that roughly 1,600 pool of people, 1,200 1,200 attended that game. So yesterday afternoon, the club released the following statement. To our Spokane Zephyr FC community supporters and partners, thank you. Over the past 2 seasons, you've helped bring professional women's soccer to life in Spokane. The energy, belief, and support you've shown this club have meant everything to our players and staff. After careful consideration, we have made the decision not to continue operating a professional women's team beyond the 2025-2026 season. This is not the end of women's soccer in Spokane. We remain committed to the game and to this community, and we will continue exploring ways to ensure women's soccer remains an active and visible part of the Inland Northwest. We're proud of what Spokane Zephyr FC have meant to this community and grateful for the role you have played in it. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Oof. So Mike, will you go through the stages of grief with me as relates to this news?
Do I have a choice, Benji?
You do not.
In that case, let's go through the stages.
I locked that damn door.
We always lock the door.
Hey, they don't know that.
Oh.
You're stuck.
First time he's locked the door, guys.
I double bolted it.
There's a double bolt.
There is. Those stages, for anybody who would like a primer on what the stages of grief are: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally, if we can get there in any way, shape, or form, acceptance. Before I go into the story, can I tell you that this has been an ongoing conversation with Super League supporters groups all year?
When you say this has been, do you mean this particular
The existential crisis facing the entire Super League. As
the whole
in,
league.
Will my team survive? Will the league survive?
Okay.
Because everybody can see the attendance figures. Even if you believe the publicly stated attendance figures, which I do not, I will also say that I never expected Spokane to be the proverbial canary in the coal mine when it comes to which of these teams is going to cry uncle first. I probably should have. Maybe that's my way of segueing into the denial part of this, okay? But I'm going to paint a picture of how these things, the things that I know and how they've affected me doing this podcast and being part of the soccer enthusiast community. The initial plan for USL operations in Spokane, Washington, dating back to September or so of 2021, was to bring a 3rd division USL League One men's team and a pre-professional amateur USL W League women's team. That was the plan. Eventually, when the Harnatos and the rest of the ownership group were in place, they really wanted to pursue a Super League team instead of a W League team, and to launch both in the same year. Very ambitious, laudable, right? On the surface of things, you're going, this is awesome. We're going to get both. The investment within this ownership group is grassroots. We don't have, in case anybody's wondered, none of the people involved with the ownership of USL Spokane have that type of crazy hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars wealth to absorb huge losses. This is something that we're learning. They all looked at the financials and went, we can't do this. We're risking potentially everything going away if we continue with this. And it's based a lot on attendance trends. They decided it's not sustainable. So denial for me, I'm going to start there. As early as probably the spring, certainly, maybe a little later, summer of 2024. The first time we ever probably saw our first, okay, what does this look like when people are busy, it's summertime, they've got other things to do, there's competing activities, there's parades, there's whatever, right? It's hot and attendance takes a dip. I learned that 3,000 to 4,000, closer to 4 than 3, attendance at minimum was considered necessary for the sustainability of professional soccer in Spokane. By the final game of 2025 in the USL Super League, I saw that attendance was about half of where it started. About 2,200, I think it was publicly stated for that game. Hosting Fort Lauderdale, desperately needing to win that game. Anything other than a win, and we don't make the playoffs, and instead Fort Lauderdale make it. 2,200 people. And I was already kind of going, this is where the denial started. I was like, well, I know where this ends if this continues, because I've been told we need about 4,000 people a game to show up to support. That's my denial. I could probably come up with more, but we've got many stages to get through.
I don't think I really went through the denial. I mean, I could,
or even about the news itself.
I mean, the news itself, I kind of understood.
Yeah.
That this was a realistic possibility. I had no insider knowledge whatsoever. In case anyone's wondering, I found out, the same way that everyone else did. But I did think that even before we ever kicked a ball with these things, with these teams, I thought that this is a fairly realistic possibility of like a 2-year or a 3-year, shelf life for the teams. And I hoped it wouldn't be the case, obviously. So if you want to interpret that as denial, sure.
I'm going to interject because you shared something really, I think, important before we started recording, which is that the USL history, the model that the USL has, which is kind of like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got enough money for the franchise fee? Come on over. Pay up. We'll take it. Is that weekly funded ownership groups tend to last an average of 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. And then in general, so I did research on this when I was in college and those numbers have changed, but
yeah,
I believe the average timeline of a USL club back when I was in college, and this is USL Championship, was like 2-something years. Or maybe it was amateur soccer, amateur to to semi-pro to, bottom division, which was USL Championship at the time. Pro soccer clubs in our country last 2.14 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was when I was in college, and guys, I am old, so that was a long time ago, but they have changed.
He's older than me, folks, believe it or not.
And if you would compare the Super League probably most closely to League One in terms of, a men's counterpart that has a longer timeline, 3 to 6 years was kind of the stuff that I was coming up with too.
And it is getting better, but my, oh my, is there a long way to go.
In general, our country is getting much better with these types of things, but the American way is that there's so many different pathways to achieve these different things. Like our men's side had one of the best professional leagues in the world in the 1920s. We finished third in the 1930 World Cup, and then someone created a competing league, and then they just went away. So this is unfortunately what we've been getting for well over 100 years in this country.
We don't have a functionally coherent pyramid. We don't have a governing body like an FA that they have in Europe, all throughout the world, especially the model that we think about all the time as Americans in Europe. We don't have that.
Well, we have the United States Soccer Federation.
We do, but it doesn't have anywhere, doesn't wield anywhere near it. It would take an act. I've listened to podcasts with experts about this topic dating years ago. It would take a freaking act of Congress to implement something because of our competitive corporate pro-corporation structure. You're not going to be able to do that. A centralized bureaucratic entity that can be like, no, this is how it goes.
Yeah, and they've really, on the men's side specifically, MLS has almost got carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that.
Yeah, and on the women's side, I'm guessing NWSL has a similar type situation.
They do, yeah.
And then that leaves us with USL. So
yeah, and the NWSL has taken every opportunity. I shouldn't say every opportunity, as many as it can, and it needs to probably take more to differentiate itself from the MLS where they can, where applicable, culturally, operationally, getting rid of the draft, etc. I'm going to come back to that. I want to move on to anger. And this will be the longest chapter.
Move on to anger.
I didn't want to do this. I was not going to do this. And then I felt I was doing myself, I was doing the community, I was doing anybody who's upset a disservice by not representing, at least by proxy. And I'm not pretending to be some sort of mouthpiece for everybody's anger about this topic, about what has happened. Okay. I'm not pretending to do that. This is just my voice. This is how I'm just going to do this. Mike, you chip in with whatever. You can even push back against me. I welcome it. But I'm going to start here. The USL Players Association issued this announcement today. The decision for Spokane Zephyr FC to cease operating after the 2025-2026 season is another reminder of the instability that continues to plague professional soccer in this country. Mike and I are just talking about that. And players should not be expected to accept that instability as normal. Over the past 2 years, players, staff, supporters in the Spokane community have invested deeply in building professional women's soccer in Spokane. That commitment deserved stability, long-term planning, and a clear vision for the future. Instead, once again, the people carrying the greatest risk are the players and workers whose careers and livelihoods depend on the sport being built responsibly. When clubs disappear, players lose jobs, staff lose livelihoods, fans lose their club, and communities lose trust. What makes this situation especially concerning is that players in the USL Super League do not yet have the protections of a collective bargaining agreement. Quick aside from me, that is true. They've been negotiating one since the start of the league. That has not been completed. They do not operate currently under a CBA. They haven't even enacted their first. Sustainable growth requires stronger standards, greater intentionality, and a meaningful player voice in shaping the future of the sport. If the USL and its ownership groups want players to commit their careers to building this game, then they need to commit to protecting the people who make it possible. The women's game in particular has fought too hard for professional opportunities to accept instability as normal. The sport needs serious investment, thoughtful structure, and real accountability. Our sport deserves better. Our sport needs better. The players deserve better. Communities deserve better. The future of women's soccer in this country depends on building with players and communities at the forefront. There are things in that statement, in particular with how this is going to transpire here locally, that I don't know the details of, and I look forward to learning them. How was it handled? How will the futures of these players be handled? I look forward to updates from USL Spokane. I look forward to having the Harnatos come on the podcast and chat with us eventually about this when the time's right. But my anger right now is that I think the USL look like they're cosplaying with supporting women's soccer. They didn't have to start this league without sufficient planning and without sufficient resources. I'm angry that the sacrifice, and I'm disappointed and sickened by this, that it feels like the sacrifice of Zephyr FC as a team will likely benefit Velocity FC. Because as you described, two teams at once. Yes, I know that the season ticket holder groups, we were told by USL Spokane and Ryan Harnato a couple times. I know we've both been told by Ryan that it's a different group, the season ticket holders. I still think a lot of families would love to support a lot of soccer sickos like me with this podcast even. I have to make a choice. I know you do. We talk about it all the time. Which game are you going to go to? Can you go to both? I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I can. Is our city any even close to populous enough to support both these teams?
I didn't know that there's absolutely no CBA ever.
Yeah.
In
a lot of people, that was an epiphany for them today.
I thought there might have been a horrible one.
I thought that was crazy that when they announced that people didn't realize that. A lot of people on the USL Discord were like, what?
That is fairly irresponsible. So like,
yeah. And it's back to the Wild West. You are dependent on people doing the right thing until they shuttered the operation. I know for a fact that USL Spokane was one of the teams that was held in kindest light when it comes to the treatment and compensation of players. But guess what? That doesn't help when they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, I spoke to a player very recently that was like, I would love to be in Spokane. Like this is like a week ago.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, right?
On the men's and women's side, by the way.
Yes, both sides for sure.
There are players in the USL Championship that would bite your hand off to come to Spokane.
Right. What stage is empathy? Because I mean, I certainly feel a lot of empathy toward the players.
Yeah.
Our Zephyr players specifically, with not just how they have been put in the situation.
Yeah.
But also with how they're handling it in a really classy manner. Those of you who don't know me, I am an extremely positive person. And those of you who knew me in my 20s, quiet down. But like, I feel that women's soccer is in a better place than it was prior to the Zephyr. I think that those smiles and those laughs from the girls in the stands and boys and people will never go away. I feel that the memories will be long lasting in our community. And I feel that a lot of times trying to get these things off the ground never happens. And it's just a pipe dream like the North-South Freeway in Spokane. So like we did it. And if the shelf life is short, just like all the research suggests, then we still did it, right? I mean, San Diego Loyal, like in my hometown of San Diego, they got pushed out by a bigger fish. San Diego FC came in and just steamrolled them.
Yeah, here comes the MLS. Yeah.
But if you look at it, like the Loyal, I mean, I still have a Loyal scarf in my classroom, right? Sitting up there because my friend Matt Hall was there, and you know, he's got a page in their little Loyal book that says, "I'm glad it happened." So that's kind of where I am.
I hear everything you're saying. That isn't the reality for us. We didn't have the NWSL come in and stand up another team. I feel like I have to hold two sentiments at the same time always with these things of nobody wanted this outcome. Nobody. It was a huge risk, too much. They took so much risk and put so much pressure on fans with this arrangement with these two teams. And I'm angry about that because I don't want to go to games and feel like, oh God, if 4,000 people aren't here, what happens now? Yikes.
That's a difficult position as a fan.
It's a horrible position. I do know that the operating costs are much cheaper. I've heard some crazy figures about how much cheaper it is to operate a League One side than it is for a Super League side.
For our listeners, could you clarify why the Super League's more expensive?
The Super League's more expensive because the moment they pursued Division One status, I'm not even getting, it's next on my list. Thank you. The USL did not have to pursue Division One sanctioning. By doing so, they set in motion a couple things. Players and agents rightfully expect wages commensurate with the NWSL's bottom. Minimally.
If you want my anger, the anger's the Division One thing.
Okay.
There's 3 children in my house, and all of them can tell you that Spokane Zephyr and Seattle Reign are on different playing fields.
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure. Intergalactically.
There's a number right after number 1, number 2.
I know.
They could have.
Which they originally pursued.
They could have been a second division league. So I don't know why. I thought it was ridiculous. I said to myself, maybe a few others, I don't think U.S. Soccer will approve it. So I don't know why U.S. Soccer did approve that.
But again, by doing so, the U.S. Soccer approved it because it met the standards. The standards are not the same for Division One in the women's game as they are for men. They're closer to Division 3.
Why would we have 2 Division 1
standards
competing leagues? No. It's
sorry.
fair that the standards are different for men and women.
Well, this is the whole...
Why would we have 2 competing leagues?
This is the whole America of it all.
2 third division competing leagues is no problem for me.
Yeah.
Like we do on the men's side. With MLS Next Pro.
Or the now dead...
the NISA? I'm not counting that. Thank you very much. I don't know how far down that goes in the list of numbers.
Let's get back on topic. But I hear you.
Yes.
It's the America of it all.
That's the outrageous
And the moment they did it, they signaled, we're coming after you, NWSL. We're going to get your players. I do think there was a lot of bluster about that. Not from USL Spokane. USL Spokane got a couple of loan players from Kansas City Current, from Seattle Reign. We all know.
Did that come from Justin Papadakis while he was holding a beer?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. But I hear you. Because the moment you do that, you're saying, pay them commensurate to NWSL. You're Division One. Congratulations. You win. Now, what happens when that initial glow of every team selling out their stadium for their home game goes away, and it's like, oh crap, our attendance dropped by 50% in the end of the first year, and some clubs it dropped by more than that. Then you've got a real problem on your hand. And if you don't have that much money to pay those wages that are expected in Division One, you didn't have to start the league. You didn't have to start the club. If you didn't plan for the rainy day of what happens if this doesn't work, I just don't like the gambling factor of we didn't have enough assets to support this for 5 years.
Nope.
They didn't have to adapt the European schedule. Proved to be a complete sad trombone situation. I don't know what good it did. Did it do anything good? Breaks up the season in Spokane, Washington in particular. Oh my God. They're gone December and February, but then the season resumes? What is going on here? Real tough pill to swallow for people to understand the narrative, impetus of what's happening it's hard enough to follow these things, right? March 14th, it was 36 degrees at one stadium. There was ice on the pitch. I wanted to die. I had an Arc'teryx $400 down coat on. Just wanted to die.
You spent $400 on a coat, Benji.
I'm an idiot. Sorry, I stupid. REI wasn't on sale. I was an idiot. But
Brooklyn?
God, it's my favorite coat. I've had it for 5 years, man.
Brooklyn game?
Yeah, dude, It was unbelievably cold. And I know and I understand why that this USL Spokane has been and continues to be marketed to families. I think it's the hill we have to die on, most likely. We can go after some affluent single couples, whatever, but families are probably where you're going to find enough density to support this thing. I'm not even going to get into that because I'll save my thoughts on that for a few moments from now. Not good enough to say we want more opportunities for American women to play professional soccer in their home country because a lot of the situations overseas are bad. That's not good enough because this one doesn't look very good right now either, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't look great when your program goes away after 2 years.
And the other ones we know are absolutely hemorrhaging. and attendance isn't there. So no CBA, attendance figures are pretty pitiful. The standards of performance, training, coaching, all over the place. You and I've talked about this. There'll be games where I'm like, and this is no shade about players. It's about training. It's about development. It's about recruitment. It's about who you're signing, whatever, all those things. There are games that just look not easy on the eye. Is that fair to say? A product.
Yeah, I think I called a team's play prehistoric on this podcast once.
Yeah. Zephyr FC, shout out. The reason they're third on that list in the teams that have played for the 2 years is when they were playing at their best, they looked really good. The last 5 results for Zephyr FC this season were like, wow, this is trending in an amazing direction. Shout out Nicole Lukic. It looked really good. But the teams at the bottom, especially when they were dispirited for reasons, and they should be, because some of these situations we know, because we've heard the anecdotes from players, it gets out. Fort Lauderdale, it's a mess. Why would anybody want to play there? Tampa Bay, they win a shield and then they just totally shit the bed in year 2.
Can I just double down on that shout out to Nicole Lukic?
Yes,
because at all times during this year, because we had high highs and low lows in terms of our final scores. Remember that time when we had like 5 games where our our XG was like the same as our XG conceded, and we got like 3 points or something out of those 5 games. Nicole's coaching has put our players in a position where whether we won, lost, or draw, they have become better players at every moment because they're thinking through problems and they're adapting to different systems, which is something I don't even typically do. I just like to change the tactics of the team within the same system. But I think that Nicole has put the players in a position where they have become better soccer players over the course of her time here, which is really impressive in a league where a lot of times you just don't take chances, or in a league where a lot of times you just want to do something that makes sure you don't concede. And of course, we're going to pay for it occasionally.
She did what she said she would do when she came on the podcast. She did it. Nicole,
character.
Your stock is high, my friend.
Say what you're going to do and then you do it.
Say what you're going to do and you do it. I don't think she'd mind me sharing this.
We can always cut it.
They ended 5th overall, but 4th in goals scored. She shared this with me. 4th in goals scored, 4th in goals conversion rate, which jumped up from 8th. 3rd in clean sheets, 3rd in goals conceded. The difference between where it started with Nicole through her first few games, also said it on this podcast before, super not proud of some of the Spokane community and so-called supporters and the way they treated her in some of those games. Didn't like that at all. Just want to say that too. There's some anger.
Yeah, those guys in their comments didn't age well, did they?
Those people can suck it. But yeah, she did what she set out to do. I know for a fact Spokane provided one of the best compensation packages in the league for Zephyr players. I know that's true. But guess what? They don't exist now. Everybody's on their own in the USL. It's the Wild West. And this is where I get to eat crow for my criticisms of both the MLS and the NWSL, because they do have centralized support. They have a profit sharing, distribution, whatever you want to call it, revenue sharing, all that kind of crap, right? It's not. I could go on and on about things that are wrong with it, but I'm also kind of like, if the USL continues to operate with this mentality, which John Morrissey did such a great job in Backheel of writing a story about what's going on with these franchise fees. And then Justin Papadakis, which you and I talked about, was let go from his position because it's like, you keep taking all these expansion fees from these markets that have no shot. And now I'm like, oh God, are we one of those markets? And I'm sneaking ahead to my acceptance and my glass half full version of this. I maintain hope that a lot of what has transpired is because we tried to stand up 2 teams at the same time. It's more expensive to operate a Super League team, and we didn't get as much attendance, whatever.
Do you think that Velocity's attendance will improve now with no Zephyr?
Sadly, I do, and it sickens me.
Yeah.
Now, if we can get out in front of the narrative, if the narrative is to shame people into attending or this goes away, we're already done. I will say that right now. I think it's over if that's truth. If you lean into that message, show up, 4,000 people, or it's going to go away.
It'll burst.
I owned a video game store. I took out a $150,000 loan when I was 23 years old in the middle of Alaska. And oh my God, did I think I knew more than I did. I was working as a general manager of a video game store in Anchorage, Alaska. And I was like, this guy, I can do this.
I'm 23.
Yeah. I don't need advertising. He did a lot of advertising. I was like, God, this shit's expensive. I talked to a couple, this is before I ever had anything to do with advertising, before I even went to film school. I was like, I don't need advertising. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. It's expensive. Geez, I talked to some people and they told me how much it costs to do ads. I'm like, no way. I took some big hits to my ego and learned the hard way that was going to be a tough business. It stayed open for 11 years, but we almost died within 2. But I had to immediately come to terms with, first of all, I'm hurting. This is not working like I thought it would. I better pivot to do something innovative to save this business. Secondly, I told everyone who worked for me, and I made sure that I was committed to this principle. Don't ever tell people that you're hurting. Don't tell any customers, please support Atomic Video Games, because if you don't, I won't be able to afford my car payment. Because I know what happens if you do that. People don't support fucking losers. They feel guilty. They don't want to walk into your establishment and be like, oh God, if I don't buy that game, is Benji going to eat tonight? Don't lean into that narrative. Find money to be able to absorb the losses while we build this thing. The people are there. People love this team. People love soccer in Spokane. All right. I'm getting stuck in some details. You have anything to say?
No. Go on, Benji.
Geography. One fucking team on the West Coast. I told you there's going to be an explicit rating. I waited until minute 50 to get into this, but there's going to be a lot of F-bombs from here out. One fucking team on the West Coast. USL. One fucking team.
Yeah.
And then the new team who joins us in year 2, it's like a drinking game. Florida. Come on, Jacksonville. Our nearest market to Spokane, Washington is Dallas, Texas. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future of the league when it comes to AC Boise. Are they looking at what happened to us and going, ugh. We launched our men's team and it's kicking ass. We're not going to launch a women's team in the same year. Are they keeping their powder dry?
Are you aware of Boise having this plan to join the USL a long time ago?
No, I don't know.
It was 7 or 8 years ago.
No.
And then it fell off.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how that's exactly relevant to this, but they were bringing USL to Boise, Idaho in 2018. And then I just kind of was like, where is it? Where did it go? I'm getting these dates wrong, but they postponed it, which is interesting.
My last bullet for the USL is the product. The TV broadcasts, pretty pitiful.
Yeah.
The commentary, pretty pitiful. It feels like at times, depending on what you get, sometimes it'd be good. And then sometimes it's like, is this guy in his basement? Is he in a bathroom in his basement? I think I heard him just flush the fucking toilet. And he's like, oh, Zephyr FC, what are they called? There was some real the fullback, she tosses it out to the left wing. I'm like, tosses it out there? Like what? Just using baseball terminology to describe soccer?
You know what the worst one was? The high arcer.
High arcer?
It's like, dude, stop.
Put it on the board. Yes.
Need the Spanish language.
Stadiums. What's going on in Brooklyn? What is that thing? And then you combine the two and you get Brooklyn FC. No more despicable clown car in the Super League. That stadium, the pitch, baseball shit. And when it was really rainy, there was a game where I'm the position of the camera, the angle had water on it.
You saw the guy wipe it off.
Division 1, bro.
In the broadcast.
D1 sanctioned. All right. That's all I have for anger on that. Ready for the rest of the people? You know who else I'm angry at?
Who else are you angry at?
Spokane soccer fans. Stop begging for free tickets. Whether it's on Instagram DMs, whether it's on Discord. This is where I will say the community has to show up. If you like soccer, just do the basic math. Buy a season ticket, buy merch, buy tickets. Even if you walk up and pay $14 or $15 for a bleacher seat, stop begging for tickets. Stop acting like you can't believe this happened when I never see you, asshole. I told you I was angry.
Yeah.
Stop saying you can't believe this happened. I never see you there. I know you. You don't think I see people at games? I've missed like 2 games ever. I don't see you there. And I see you in the comments going, oh! You weren't at the games, so STFU. Stop talking about all the ways you would fix things to make sure there were 4,000 people at games when you don't even buy tickets. Are you mad at anybody? Are you still not mad? Have I gotten you mad?
No, you've not gotten me mad. Thank you for the inquiry. I'm not mad at anyone really. I'm mad at the comment section.
Yes.
And I'm mad at every comment section on the internet.
Well, that just goes without saying, especially in Spokane. I mean? Spokesman Review,
yeah.
Or the Spokesman Review itself. I just got a text, Mike. I'm going to show you that I can't see because I'm going to click on it so I can see it. Spokane Zephyr FC announces via website, post 25-26 season will be last. This is Spokesman Review. Spokane Zephyr FC's Amina Ekic on the right controls the ball against Fort Lauderdale United at One Spokane Stadium in August of 2024. The player is actually Kenzie Weinert, and she's on the left. Good job, Spokane local paper.
Yeah.
That's tough. So, right on cue. You know who else I'm angry at? Keep in mind, this is stages of grief. I'm not saying I'm forever mad at you. I'm not forever mad at anyone I've talked about being mad at. This is me working through the grief.
Is it me?
No.
Okay.
I can't be mad at you. I came in here, I was like, Mike's going to catch a stray, especially with my Instagram story. It probably looked like I was saying, sorry, Mike, like you're going to catch a stray.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything for you. You're like one of the nicest. You have like a pretty impeccable reputation. You're just a good guy.
Go on.
Shut up. I hate you.
Who else you mad at, Benji?
Mad at you for being such a good boy.
Beyond me, who you mad at?
You know who else I'm angry at? Perfect timing. Spokane Media. Oh, now you want to talk to me. Oh.
Did you talk to the media recently?
Now you want to talk to me. I talked to Krem, and I actually regret doing so.
Did you talk to the media in the prior 2 years?
No, they never reached out to me, not once, except for Eliza Billingham. Shout out, Eliza, love you.
Big time shout out.
From the Inlander.
Yeah.
But anyone else? No shot.
Doom and gloom leads.
Nobody. Oh, but the doom and gloom, the ambulance chasers, here they come. Oh, there's a dead body in one stadium. Now you want to talk to me. Where were you when USL Spokane hired an entirely female coaching staff and were facing critical matches in the season? But the moment junior high football season starts for boys, you're going to stop showing up to all these games. Kind of what happened. You know who else I'm angry at? Talked about it on the podcast before. Public Facilities District for negotiating a concessions deal with a scumbag company in Chicago, Illinois, who's serving up slop for $20 a plate and calling it food. If the best available market to USL Spokane's teams, now team, is families, which I believe is probably true. A lot of attention, especially in summertime, even with the spring to fall schedule that we have for the men's team. But how do you get families to come back when you're serving up this slop that goes out of the market to an Illinois-based company because the PFD negotiated a stupid contract with them? The market depends on families to come to games. The PFD have succeeded in making it unaffordable to families to come to games if they want to buy food for their kids. And kids are going to beg for food. And they're going to be served slop for $20 a plate. I've never eaten a single ounce of food from one stadium.
Really?
Yeah, never.
That's funny.
Yeah. And only a small percentage of that income goes to the team anyway. It's like, 20%, I think. Tickets were down to $14 to $15, so I don't want to hear that shit anymore. So, PFD, what isn't affordable is dumpster quality food. None of it made locally. No food trucks. You don't get any local, Cochinito. Wouldn't it be cool if they were there making tacos?
Yeah.
Nope. Levy gets it all, and they send it back to Chicago. Yum. You don't have to drink beer to enjoy sports, but it's bad for business having a pro team in the stadium if everybody drinks and eats at the bars and taverns surrounding the game beforehand. Why?
That's objectively true.
Why? Because if pro sports fail, everybody fails. They won't be there anymore. Nobody's drinking beer or eating food anywhere. We're back home watching shitty MLS games or Premier League games. All right. I'm almost done with your anger. Go.
I thought we were done with anger.
Got any counter? One more. I have one more.
No, I don't have a counter. I understand those things perfectly well. I've bought that food and I'm not happy about it. And honestly, I'd be very happy to buy shitty food for shitty prices if I knew it was going directly to the club.
Totally.
I would be very happy to do that.
Or if it didn't bankrupt me and my family. Or prevent us from going to future games because we're like, God, we can afford to go to like one of these a month.
Right.
Or sorry, one of these a quarter.
And like, keep in mind, I do have kids and they eat this dumbass food.
Yeah.
And I pay for it anyhow. But I would be a lot happier to do so.
On teachers' wages.
My wife and I are both teachers.
Yep.
We make plenty of money. Spokane's a good hotspot for teachers. But
yeah, but let's not get cute.
I'd be a lot happier. I'd be a lot happier if I knew that the money was not going back to Chicago.
Finally, I'm angry at the entire model. America deserves a better soccer system from top to bottom, youth to pros, women, men, girls, boys. What we have now is a fucking disgrace. It's a poo-poo platter beset with greed and incompetence. Everywhere you look. I'm looking at how private equity bros are coming up and buying youth club systems. And you know what I'm talking about. Look at you smiling. To turn a profit off of kids, athletics.
If you want my anger, we could talk about youth soccer, but yeah. Like,
I got him, folks.
I mean, like in the United States, too many people are thinking about making a dollar off of whatever we're doing soccer wise, and it's not appropriate. No one's talking about how to make soccer players inspired and better at playing soccer and better people.
No,
that's a very difficult. That's why I teach now. That's why I work in a school.
That's why I love organizations like 90 Plus. That's why I like the Shadow organization. The coaches that I've met, this guy named Mike Pellicio, good people.
To be fair, I think that you might have been taking a shot at Surf, and I will defend Surf. They do a very good job with a lot of their players. My stepdaughter played at Surf for a year, and it was a very good year for her.
I wasn't, actually.
There are okay, good.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of good people in youth sports. Unfortunately, it's too easily hijacked for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. What I do know, though, is regardless of whether there's a private equity bro purchased entity in youth sports, youth activities, that's where they see the money. They're not fucking stupid. They're like, oh my God, these parents will pay this shit. My kids are in competitive dance and gymnastics, go to these competitions, sell these tchotchkes that say you won a triple platinum, gold, emerald, division 3, whatever. And the kids know better. They're like, I did.
Hold up a one.
Is that a participation trophy that you just gave me? And you're calling it all those things. And it cost me $48 or whatever. Bargaining. You ready? I made it to the third stage of grief, folks. Woo!
Congrats to Benji for making it through his anger.
Dude.
Let's bargain.
I may lose every listener.
I don't think you'll lose every listener. Are we bargaining?
I love you, Sadie. I don't think you'll lose every listener.
Guys,
but
some
most
of you
them
can go away.
Yeah. Here's me bargaining. Did I do enough with this podcast? I had Kenzie and Soph. I had Amina. I had Nicole, Lukic. Just had Hope, Emma, and Katie. I can't even look at the thumbnail portrait from that podcast without crying. But I think it was already too late at that point. I think that the financials, by the time I had Hope, Emma, and Katie on the podcast, that the results of the remaining 4 games might not have made a difference. And I'm like, this is my bargaining stage. Did I do enough with my podcast? Maybe I should have paid for ads to get my clips in front of a bigger audience. All these chuckle fucks in the comments saying, we have a women's team. Some people say that earnestly. Like, I didn't know.
Like they're not being trolls.
Yes, there are some people that are not being trolls. And then I feel bad because I'm like, should I have put some juice behind my content? But then there's reasons I haven't done that. Not money. It's usually because I put licensed music and all this other kind of stuff. And I just don't want to deal with the like, oh, it's rejected by Meta or whatever.
I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think that you need to feel any sort of responsibility for promoting the pro soccer environment in our city. So if you would like to be absolved from that guilt, you absolutely can now. You've done a lot with this podcast, and I'm not throwing myself in there because I just occasionally come here and make snide comments, but you've done a lot for the sport in our city and specifically for these 2 teams, not to mention Gonzaga women, Shadow women, the nice things you just said about 90 Plus. Like, you've done a lot of nice things for soccer in our community. And there's a big gap before you had this podcast where no one was talking about anything because local media doesn't cover things. And we kind of just have our insular system of who soccer people are. So I think you've done a lot and you deserve a lot of credit for that, Benji.
It's the stages of grief. And you're not going to make me cry. Maybe they can just take a year off and regroup, find more investment in 2027.
This is bargaining for sure. Okay.
Maybe they're using their position of weakness as leverage to get a better deal from the Gamebridge Super League. Maybe the USL headquarters are going to come through with a check to support the additional travel that's been endured and the costs of having the one West Coast team. None of that happened.
No.
Why? The truth is, cynically, I'm back to anger. I don't know if the USL gives a fuck. They might actually welcome this. If it's going to be easier for the other teams that are remaining. We don't want the other teams to have to pay for going to Spokane twice. Fuck. This is actually maybe good for us. There's another Florida team. Shit, we'll fire one up.
That's very cynical. I doubt that's the case, but yeah.
All right. That was a short segment. Bargaining. Depression. You have any bargaining?
No.
All right.
No.
Look at you.
Not a bargainer.
You're going to go straight to acceptance, you son of a bitch.
I accepted pretty quickly and I don't know if I saw it coming or not, but like, and I knew nothing. I was floored like everyone else, but like I did accept it pretty quickly, and my positive spin, I'll give another sense of it because you're going to go into depression, and let's just get the positive there. But I'm really happy that standing next to Emma Jaskinik's mom, and I'm kicking myself for not remembering her name.
Carrie, shout out Carrie.
Thank you. Shout out Carrie. On Saturday, I got to tell her that her daughter was my favorite Zephyr player, and like seeing the light in her eyes meant a lot to me because any mom wants to hear that about their kid. And Emma's mom,
love the Jaskinik family.
She was like, "Oh my God, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, like,
oh, you've been pretty consistent about that since last year."
I adore all the players, but yeah, she's slightly ahead of a bunch of other ones. Like,
for real, dude.
I love that she wears her heart on her sleeve and puts in tackles and is a maniac on the field, and then smiles and high fives kids immediately after the game and stays till every kid's got an autograph. Like, I love that she wants to be a part of Spokane and the Spokane Zephyr, and I love the class with which she's handled herself even since then. So I do like to take those positives and say, man, I got to tell a mother that her daughter was my favorite player, where, you know, at different times, holes in our timeline, there was no outlet in America for professional sports for women that were really good at soccer, like really good. So like that to me means a lot. And I know that our team's gone away, so it's a little bittersweet, but Emma's mom's still not going to forget that. Carrie, shout out Carrie.
Shout out Carrie. There's going to be a lot of content about Zephyr FC in the coming podcasts. I want to do some top favorite memories, favorite players, just give out some flowers to all these players. That was a long list.
Yeah.
Longer than I thought. And I had to double check it. I can't trust anything that I found. FootMob had missing players. I saw Haley Cole wasn't on there. I saw that Thais Hayes wasn't on there. I saw that Alyssa Walker wasn't on there. I was like, oh my God. I can't read this list without making sure I get everybody. There's going to be a lot of time and I look forward to talking about the players that have come and gone to be remembered but not missed. Hope Heisey. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to miss you guys. I'm going to remember you both. I'm sorry. I like the quote. It's cool. It works as a kind of a platitude, a fortune cookie wisdom thing. I'm pushing back on it. I'm going to miss the hell out of you.
Live, laugh, love.
Maybe it's because I'm in depression mode. I can't look at any of the content from the shows with the players without wanting to cry. I think of August 17th, 2024, the first ever game. I'm with my wife, my two daughters, my sister. I see the video of that experience. I start crying. This is what depression has looked like for me in the last... It started on Saturday night after the win. Had nothing other than just a sense. The PA announcer saying, thank you for coming out. Nothing about the fall. No season tickets offered, whatever. And I was like, oh God. I had heard a couple things. There was some smoke. The evidence was there. I had been told by agents that they were reaching out to the club and the club was saying, take care of your player. I was hearing all this. I know you were too. And we were worried. Both of us. So when I left bargaining phase, where I was like, no, they're leveraging. They're just going to ask for a big check from USL and Gamebridge, and they're going to come in, parachute in and save us. But the depression is now that I see videos of any of these experiences and I start crying. I see my friend Abby take the head coaching job for Vermont Green. And I think back to the hours that she and I spent on and off air talking about the first ever Zephyr roster. And I start crying. I think of Amina Ekic walking up to me with tears rolling down her cheek and saying, "I'm so sorry," and pushing her head into my chest after they narrowly missed out on the playoffs, May 31st, 2025. And I start crying. I told her at the time, and I meant it, and I believed it, and I still believe it. The people that have supported this team would take a fucking bullet for you. Hi, Amina.
Hi.
You all right? Hey. Dude,
You played
you
fantastic.
kicked unholy ass
Yeah, you kicked butt.
all year, and this whole city would take a fucking bullet for you.
Thanks. True.
Yeah. So keep your chin high. Even weird moments, I start thinking about the games that I missed. There were only like one or two of them. And I'm like, this is back to bargaining, I guess, shit. I'm like, I wish I'd been there. You know? Do you have any depression things? You don't get depressed. You're not sad. Look at you. Fucking, you're an oak.
No, I have happy memories from the Zephyr. So like, even like Izzy Nino coming to our fixture here with the Spokane Impact in 2025 at the Hub Sports Complex,
Yeah, I was there.
and interacting with all of our players. And she's not the only one. She just kind of gave out the awards. I think Natalie was there. I'm going to butcher it, but I think Katie was there. I mean, there's so many players there. It's been a long time, but the support that the Zephyr and the Velocity for that matter, but Zephyr's the topic, has given to the Spokane Impact. And we had our signing day at the Grand, and we all signed autographs for pro soccer players. What are they doing getting our autographs? It's supposed to go the other way. So like, that was such a classy move. And also Zephyr, I mean, Velocity came after sleeping in their beds. Zephyr came after, arriving at 3 a.m. to the airport because they were flying across the country. I don't know why they came. I wouldn't have came. I barely came as it was, and I was a head coach. I could barely make it there. Those players came too. So like, there's so many good memories of Zephyr players showing up and interacting with our community and just behaving with class and showing our young girls. And this is, again, my positivity, where that doesn't go away. They're showing young girls what it looks like to achieve something and to compete at the highest level, and then to stay after and sign autographs and interact with kids.
And you're describing a lot of the flowers that are deserved by everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that you came in here and you're ready to take all of your stages of grief, and they're all acceptance. And I love that. It's glass half full stuff. It's flowers for everybody involved that have done wonderful things for these last 2 years. When I first spoke with the Harnatos, I led with, "I'm sorry," because I know this has to hurt. And everybody can have their frustration with the Harnato family, with USL Spokane in general, with its staff, with how things have gone, with all these things, and still go, that has to hurt like hell. The flowers come out on this podcast a lot for the things you're describing. Impact FC, the impact in the community, small I impact, but big I impact club, Project Inspire. I'm trying to get through acceptance. I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. Let's see if we can get there together.
Okay. Let's do it.
But yeah, that was my first reaction. I was just going to ask you that off script. If I look at my laptop, it'll be to look at facts and figures. Like, what was your first response? I just gave you mine. Mine was to say, "I'm sorry, and I'm heartbroken for everyone involved." And then I cried in a Starbucks with talking to Ryan Harnato.
I think it was literally, "Thank you for doing it." Like, I understand. I appreciate that you guys have done this, because I do appreciate it. And I think that the whole ownership group is a bit like gung ho and crazy to try this kind of thing. But so many people don't try these things.
Yeah.
You like, listen to this, picture whatever friend you got that's opening a video store that never happened, or, founding whatever company, or going to change something with his or her life. And they have never done that. I mean, Ryan and Katie and the rest of the ownership group tried this, and those memories will not go away. And I stand by it. I'm going to say it again, that women's soccer and girls soccer is in a better place now than it was 2 years ago.
And those 2 years of memories, they don't suddenly go away. You're sad because you miss them. That's kind of the Latin definition of nostalgia. Was it worth it? Will everybody who can get through the stages of grief land at not just acceptance, but glad that it happened and would do it again? Am I glad that I have these 2 years of memories? I don't know how the players, I just want to be the reason I'm angry is because I want to be really respectful of what the players are feeling. Was it worth it to them? I don't know if that equation, I want to keep that in the ledger. I don't want to ignore that. I think it matters a lot.
And that's that empathy that comes into play that I kind of referred to earlier. I mean, I do think that context would be, this is not a South Georgia Tormenta situation.
Yeah.
The agents that have been reaching out, the message was take care of your player. If the players were compensated well, which is something that you've referred to already and we've already known, would this have been more palatable to compensate the player averagely or below average and have a third year? Like,
I totally understand that. Yes. And it makes me heartsick to just be like, economics are a bastard on this. I'm sorry. I'm looking at these figures. How much did they lose? Oh my God. And how much did this club lose? Oof. Good luck to the rest of the Super League. I hope it works.
And how do you make
Because
money
it's awful if this fails. It's fucking awful if the entire league fails, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
When I talk about my cynicism about it, I want to be really clear. Like my criticism of the USL, I am not saying I hope it fails. Oh my God. So that I can say I told you so. It'd be fucking awful for these players.
No, thank you.
They need these opportunities. But the USLPA statement is factually correct. Do it with planning, structure, proper investors. Not this old 90s shit. The make it 1 to 2 years weekly funded thing. No more fucking Texomas. Stop it. Has to die dead in its tracks. No more going into these communities and killing trust there. And drinking from a poisoned chalice. Texoma. And I don't entirely put Spokane in that category. 2 teams, always ambitious. Sometimes it's like, man, I appreciate your ambition, but I'm also kind of like, maybe you shouldn't have been. That gets me to my next part of this. I'm going to jump around here. We cannot get to acceptance. We cannot get to a repair. My wife, Ray, would remind me of this. Rupture and repair. This is how this works. You can't get there. You can't get to the repair stage. And this is a really big fucking rupture without admitting what went wrong and apologizing. There were mistakes made here. They need to be admitted to publicly, owned, learn from them, grow from them, and then there's a possibility of some new seeds of trust to be planted. You can't just put this on the attendance.
I don't think that statement that went out had any chance of being received well. The statement from the club.
My opinion of it is it came from the mind and not the heart. And at some point, you have to just go say the things that we know are true, that they're hurting, that this was hard. Then get out the narrative of like, we had to make a decision. But right now, the media, the public discourse is running with the optics, which is, oh, they sacrificed Zephyr FC so that the men could survive. I don't think that's true. It's not even remotely true. But it's easy to look at what's been publicly stated thus far and go, oh, well, it seems to be the case.
So is your
and the media, Mike, I don't know if you've seen these stories. They ran with attendance and they ran with a lack of community engagement. Where did they get those talking points? I hope that didn't come from the club, because if the community receives that message, they're going to be like, fuck you.
The local media also said that my Spokane Impact team is a professional soccer team. So I had...
And FootMob says you are the head coach of Zephyr FC.
So I had 12 of my players ask me when their first paycheck's coming. I was like, thanks a lot, guys. Right? Not to my players, to the media for stitching us up and saying we're a pro soccer team.
No, you're right. And then I just...
Yeah.
So Spokesman Review, our paper of record.
Not much you can do with the press that goes out.
Look at Amina Ekic playing for Fort Lauderdale, and it's actually Kenzie Weinert playing for Zephyr. Yeah, whatever.
And it's right and left.
Right, yeah.
They're confusing. So I have a question then. So that statement that came from the club, are you suggesting that they should have maybe led with the heart and ended with the mind in the whole statement?
Sure.
Because this is what
or don't even do mind in the first one, which is like, why? Like, oh, it's because it's financial or whatever. Or the bloodless thing, which is kind of what I thought it was, which is just, we made the hard decision to do this. Oh my God, why? Then people jump to their own conclusions.
Yeah, I think that at halftime, for instance, a coach, when you have 10 to 15 minutes, hopefully you have 15, but sometimes.
Yeah.
You lead with the emotion.
Yep.
Boys, we're not doing great. This is why you guys got to have some heart. Then you provide the solutions, right? Yeah. So it might have been a halftime speech is kind of the thing that I would compare it to. And if you start
we didn't get the, it's alluded to thank you and all that stuff and the gratitude, but I'm just saying, admit that this shouldn't have happened this way. Mm-hmm. Or that you're sorry that it did and that there were probably mistakes made. The mistake that we're talking about, and you can tell me you don't think this is a mistake. I happen to think it is to not plan for not having enough finances to support the team beyond year 2. I think that's a mistake. I don't think that should have happened.
I don't know anything about funding professional soccer teams, but I do think that having what you're suggesting, which is like 5 years worth.
Be prepared. Have a structure in place in the support. Not, we have a path to getting 4,000 people to do this. Because if you don't, and maybe it takes a little more time, is if we had gotten 2,500 a game instead of whatever it was, 1,600 a game, would they have stuck around? It would have been really heartbreaking if they were like, what if there were 3,000 and not 4? Do they make it to year 3 and then not after that? I don't know.
It just sounds like the North-South freeway to me.
That said, it was trending the wrong direction in terms of the trend. And that I do go, I understand. Right?
I understand everything about why the team is not coming back.
Okay.
I understand it all really well.
Yeah. There are people I love in this town that are big mad. If I come across as angry in that stage of grief in this, oh boy, I'm the tip of the iceberg. They want me to impale USL Spokane with a pitchfork. I have been committed to supporting the celebration of the sport of soccer since day one on this podcast. And serving up only the best vibe, meaning across the political divide, I don't want to talk about that. I want to go stand next to people in my community and not judge them or have enmity toward them based on what I think their political beliefs might be, their religious beliefs, whatever. Because I think that's what really sucks about American life right now. So I've been really committed to that. And so I would never do that. I can have a tough love moment and go, I think this was a mistake. I think there were mistakes made. They should be acknowledged, addressed, and then we can repair and move on. That's how rupture and repair works. And there's been a rupture. But I do not hate anybody involved with this. The opposite. I love everybody and I'm sorry. So if you expect an op-ed from me to rip on people, shit all over them, drag their names through mud, their families, dude. And I mean involving any of the things that I think suck or things that the USL or USL Spokane have done. It's not why I'm here. It's not why I started this podcast. Go write your op-ed. Send it in. Letter to the editor. Start your own podcast. Write a blog.
Put your boots on the ground.
Do whatever. Yeah, it's just not. This is the most you're ever going to hear from me not having good vibes. And how could I in the light of what happened? There's enough to be sad and mad about with this situation without compounding misery by shitting on people who did have best intentions. I don't ever question the intentions of anybody involved here. And I'm talking about the visible players. I don't know every single person that's involved. I don't know the entire ownership group. I don't know every member of staff, but the people I interact with, including the Harnato family, don't question their intentions whatsoever. I know that this hurts, and I know this is not what anybody wanted.
And I'm on board with you there, and I do know that people do. There are people out there that are questioning the intentions, and that's the burden you do carry when you take on a lot of responsibility, as our ownership group has, and as the club has. So I feel for like I said, my anger's in the comment section. Yeah. People can maybe just pump the brakes a little bit and reflect before they start to put these things in the comment section. It's just always just so like vitriolic and nasty. Like, and like, I wanted to respond to a few of them and be like, what you're saying isn't true. And it's also not helpful. And then I'm like, great, I'm just going to get fucking obliterated here if I get in there. So I will not do that.
Oh, I had to stop reading it.
I stopped reading it too.
The misogyny, what are we going to get some boys to go out and play with them now? Whatever.
When you said to me today that like the comment section was either turned off or had been moderated heavily, I was like, well, I haven't checked in quite some time. So yeah, that's great.
I have to hold two really distinctly different sentiments in my head and my heart at the same time a lot with this topic.
Yeah.
The tough love version is I'm disappointed that some of these mistakes were made. And I can quibble over the 2-year thing and not having a plan. Somebody could push back against that. Make your argument. I don't agree with it, but you can make your argument. But I also really love everyone who's tried to make this work. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the entire USL Spokane staff, its coaches and players. We've talked about the players. I should always start there. I'm grateful to have these memories. I wouldn't give them for the world.
How many, just give me a rough estimate, how many Zephyr games do you think you've been to at our stadium?
All but probably 2.
How many Newcastle games you've been to? How many Manchester United games have I been to? Even throw Sounders in there.
Yeah.
I've supported the Zephyr and the Velocity more than any other team that I've ever supported in my entire life.
It's 28 games in a season. Okay. So 56 games. I probably missed
50 plus.
Well, keep in mind, 28 home games. So I've been to 26 probably home games for Zephyr FC.
You've been to 26 home games for Zephyr. You've been to a similar amount plus a couple and change now for Velocity.
Yep.
Right. And you and I did not have this opportunity because you and I grew up watching games on VHS tape. I remember a game that said Manchester United versus Barcelona, 3-3 VHS tape. And I remember finding it and being like, when the hell did my dad record this? And I plugged it in and I went, oh, wild. I remember watching games on VHS all the time because whatever damn channel we could get it on, you just record it. That was a wild time.
Oh, that's how I became a Newcastle supporter.
And you're older than me, so you really went through some dark times.
I had some VHS tapes that I ordered from a magazine. I ordered some boots, and they sent a VHS tape. I ordered a greatest goals VHS tape, and they sent almost kind of like, we can't get rid of these things.
Yeah, well, they couldn't.
It was like a Newcastle United thing they just threw in, kind of like they throw in stickers when you order shit now.
Yeah.
They threw in a VHS tape.
Well, I was lucky enough because I am from San Diego and that's a much bigger market. I was lucky enough to be season ticket holder with the San Diego Spirit in the WUSA.
Mm.
And I knew that we were lucky there. And I saw attendance not great there. And I was like, this can't possibly be good. You know what I mean? Also, like my family supporting the team. And I look around, I'm like, there's not, it's not like all the super rich people here. Like these people are really paying money that maybe they don't have to try to support those teams.
Yeah. And I said this and see, what am I back to depression here? I said toward the end of 2025 and certainly in the summer when we were like regrouping for the Super League second season of like, don't take this for granted.
Yes.
I didn't want to browbeat anybody and say, if you don't show up, it's going to fail. We need 4,000 people. I never said that, but I said, just don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
And I've tried so hard not to, because I'm just like, I've described it as like it's my cathedral.
Yeah.
I go in there and I have the closest thing as an atheist to religious experiences. I love the trance-like state that I enter when I'm with a bunch of people that I might not have anything in common with other than the fact that we showed up here to watch this game. And I don't want to take that for granted. I love it. I love that feeling. It's freaking magic.
More so than that too, like with your beloved Newcastle and my beloved Manchester United, or even the Seattle Sounders, like, do you get to talk to the players of those teams? Like, can you ask the coach what they were trying to accomplish? And we had that, we still have it with Velocity. We had that with the Zephyr. And I think that is magical.
It's so special.
That we have that kind of access. And it's not because we're here, it's everyone in the stadium. What were you thinking on that goal?
Yeah, I talked to a friend today who was saying, that we do this with a lot of businesses in Spokane. We miss them when they're gone.
Yeah.
And you never supported them when they were here.
Don't appreciate them while they're here.
So there is something to that. I'm simply saying, please do not lead with that in your messaging. I do not think it will work. It will backfire because people do not get motivated by fear and guilt.
No.
Are you ready to we're going to try to build an acceptance path.
I've been positive the whole podcast, but let's go for it.
What do we do? Like, where do we go from here? Okay.
Sure.
Support the women's game in Spokane. The part of the statement that said Spokane women's soccer in Spokane, I didn't like that either because it's already here. It was here before Zephyr FC were here.
Correct.
So I didn't like that either. I felt that was clumsy.
I don't recall that's part of the statement.
It was like, this is not the end of women's soccer in Spokane. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. Because it was already here. Yeah. There's the Gonzaga team. There's the Whitworth team. There's all these.
There's a girl in a corner kicking a ball.
Like
Lauren L. Train Jones scored 11 goals today at Shadle Park in our field day.
There you
Shout
go.
out L. Train.
Shout out L. Train. There's Shadow women's team, WPSL team.
Yeah.
Support it. A lot of big talkers. I'm calling you out, commenters. I have invited all manner of people to come to Gonzaga games, to Shadow WPSL games. Almost nobody goes. Ryan's come to the games. Ryan Shelley, shout out Ryan. Mike will come to watch Shadow games with me. Jamie will come to Zag's games with us. That's about the list of people. Or Stephen Keller, shout out Stephen. He'll come to games, both. I don't know if he's been to has he been out north to see a Shadow game? But everyone else who says they are so gung-ho women's soccer, I haven't seen any of you.
Spokane Falls Community College. I mean, what are we calling it now? Spokane
yeah, dude.
Community College.
No,
I'll an NWAC.
I'll get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Zephyr FC is going to be back as a W League team. I'm not breaking news. I'm just telling you that's what I think is going to happen. Should come as a surprise to nobody when it does end up happening, because it was the original plan. And when it happens, it'll be sick. Can I just say that? Here's what it looks like right now. This is me building acceptance through a glass half full prism. Tacoma Galaxy, FC Olympia, Salmon Bay FC. Shout out Emilio Severn. West Seattle Roadies FC. Bigfoot FC. Snohomish United. Zephyr FC. 7 teams, maybe an 8th. We'll see. I think that's what happens next.
I'd go to that game.
Fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing to families. Well, guess what? It happens in the summer months when it's nice out. They would play ostensibly 7 or 8 home games, maybe a couple friendlies. Get 10 occasions where you get to go to the stadium and watch them play.
Do you think the kids in the stands would be happy to look up to those girls?
Oh my God. Of course. And lots of local players could play.
I coached the Shadow men's first team. Kids want autographs from those guys. And I was like, my guys are not professional soccer players. I don't even know if some of them can spell their name.
Aliana?
Yeah.
I would count on players like that. That'd be super cool. Right?
Aliana Vakaluloma in goal. That'd be wonderful.
Support Shadow's WPSL team. Shadow's CPL team. Support Zags. Support Eastern. Support Whitworth. Support the Falls. That's what we're going to do. I already talked to you. It was one of the first phone calls I made about what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
The women's game cannot disappear from this podcast. This podcast started with following the Gonzaga women's team, their historically great 2023 team. We had 3 players on Zephyr FC who went to Gonzaga.
Can you name them?
The first player's name I ever issued on the Spokane Soccer Show in a 2-minute teaser that I recorded on my birthday in 2023 was Kelsey Euler, when she was getting ready to set the record for assists in a single season and career now at Gonzaga. Guess what? She was one of the pinned to the starting 11 best defenders on her team, starting fullback for Zephyr FC this year. And she played for this club alongside Sophie Braun and Jody Ulkekel. Gonzaga have a good program. Go to their games. And it should go without saying in terms of where we go from here. Support Velocity FC. Coming off back-to-back wins against FC Naples in the league and a resilient as hell 1-0 win with 10 men for 45 minutes against Las Vegas Lights last Sunday. That's how I think we get to acceptance. Admit that some people have made mistakes. Hopefully they can acknowledge and talk about some of those mistakes. We can repair, can rebuild some trust of like, how do we then support what we still have? We still have Velocity FC. Support the things we have, fight for the things we lost, demand better of both the USL and USL Spokane, but walk and chew gum at the same time by supporting the club that's still here and those players. If you want to burn this whole thing to the ground because of Zephyr FC, I just think we have a massive difference of perspective.
No, that's your issue. If you have that issue.
Yeah. Saturday, May 23rd, 1 p.m. at Whitworth Field. Now's your chance, folks. Spokane Shadow women's WPSL team in their home opener against Vancouver Victory. Again, this Saturday, 2 days from now, May 23rd, 1 p.m. at Whitworth Field. One of the best soccer pitches in the community. Probably the state. Sunday, May 24th, 4 p.m. Velocity FC host League One newcomers Sarasota Paradise at One Stadium. Show up, be mad, but show up for those players. Should we hit print?
Let's hit print.
Am I going to get canceled?
I don't think you'll get canceled. I think that people need to just kind of put things in perspective, and I think you did a really good job of doing that for us just right there.
We can't get through the stages of grief without hitting anger and addressing where we feel anger. I'm not resting there. That stuff's off my chest. I'm coming around to acceptance. I will get there. I don't think I'm exactly there now. And, you know, these things can reset. You can relapse, go back to square one. But eventually, that's where I aspire and I'm committed to getting to, which is acceptance. I'll say it again. Support the things we have. Fight for the things we lost. Demand better of the USL. Demand better of USL Spokane. That's fine, but you can walk and chew gum at the same time. Keep supporting the club that we have. Support a W League team if we have one of those, which I think we're going to. I feel like that's inevitable. And support every other Spokane soccer team that I just talked about, especially the women's game. All right. Should we wrap?
We should wrap.
Long episode. Had to get it off our chest. It's a therapy session for everybody. I hope this has been helpful. I don't know. It's helpful to me. I feel better. Do you feel better? You look better.
Better than what? I feel better that you feel better, Benji. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Benji was an absolute mess on the way in today. I feel better that you feel better, my friend.
Oh, man. I've had some weird... I'm never a sobber. But what I am is, and it drives my wife crazy because I think she's like, would you just cry? I'll just be like looking at you. And all of a sudden, it's just like a stream. And she'll be like, what is going on now? I'm like, don't worry about it. Just keep doing your thing. It's fine. Just upset about what's happened in Zephyr FC. We'll get through this together, folks. DM me if you want to get something off your chest. But keep it civil. Nobody wanted this to happen. And we still have a team to support. That's going to do it for this episode of the Spokane Soccer Show. Thanks for joining us on this tumultuous, harrowing journey through a devastating update. We will find acceptance together, folks, I promise. Until then, thank you to our sponsors, who I did not shout out on this episode for reasons. Thank you to all of you for listening. Thank you to all of you who have supported women's pro soccer in our community and continue doing so. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Benji, and thank you all the Zephyr players as well for what you guys have done for us in our community.